Every restaurant, grocery store, and school cafeteria has surprise health inspections, and Iowa inspectors are finding hundreds of health code violations in school cafeterias.
Many of those school kitchens are repeat offenders as well. KCRG TV9's chief investigative reporter Josh Scheinblum looked through hundreds of state documents to find out what this could mean for your child. He joins us now. And Josh, what did you find?
Bruce, ice buildup in a freezer dripping on food, staff washing hands without soap, washing machines not working, in rusty utensils. Those are just some of the health code violations inspectors have found just this school year in Iowa. And if these sound like merely isolated incidents, think again. Lunchtime in the cafeteria is a daily ritual for thousands of students across Iowa. Those chowing down here are at Mount Vernon High School.
Although I say they're a lot spoiled compared to what it was when I was in school. They just don't know it.
On the front lines, making sure the meals made are safe to consume, is Marcia Purrington. She oversees the kitchens across all 3 buildings in the district.
And I think Danae is coming in to get the fried rice for the elementary.
There's a Marcia, so to speak, overlooking every school kitchen in the Hawkeye State. But despite their efforts, potentially dangerous errors happen. Reports filed with the state call those risk factor violations. Inspectors like Chase Moffitt with the Lynn County Public Health Department look out for those mistakes.
Risk factor violation is a violation that the CDC has identified as being something that is directly correlated to the spread of foodborne illness. So that is something that we are absolutely out to prevent.
In 2015, contaminated meat at a pre-cooked staff lunch sickened dozens of teachers at Des Moines Roosevelt, forcing it to cancel class for a day. Testing could not determine if the contamination came from the caterer or how the meat was handled at the school. I-9 searched through just shy of 780 health inspection records completed this school year inside cafeterias. They revealed nearly half of schools had at least one health code violation, but some schools had significantly more problems identified than others. For example, Central City Community School had 5, and at both Anamosa and Monticello high schools, inspectors found 6 violations at each. But Van Buren Elementary in Cedar Rapids had the most in the TV9 viewing area, with 8 violations this fall, a tie for second for the most of any elementary school in the entire state. A near top place finish that worries parents.
I feel like somebody had gets lazy around or whatever. I get it, but you start getting 2, 3, 4. We're talking 8. That sounds like somebody might want to address it.
Problems inspectors found include no date mark on an open bag of lettuce, rust on the frame of a lettuce cutter, buildup and debris on the floor and walls of the kitchen, and a washing machine didn't have a large enough air gap. Susie Kettleson is the Director of Food and Nutrition Services for the Cedar Rapids Community School District.
Safety has always been our top priority, and none of these are in any way related to student health or safety.
Shortly after TV9 began asking questions about Van Buren's violations, the school sent a letter home to parents. I made the decision to share the information with you so you learn about it from the school first and not from a TV story, the letter reads, signed by Principal Kent Ryan. It points out many of the issues uncovered during the last inspection, but it does not mention that inspections have found violations each year since at least 2014. That adds up to 19 different violations.
Every indication is like this happened one time. We know that's not the case.
When you have aging facilities, non-urgent items are put on a list for repair. So every item addressed, everything was addressed.
Now, before you think that it's health inspectors that hold schools to an impossible standard, consider this. Here in the Mount Vernon School District, they haven't had a single risk factor violation identified at any of their schools.
It was impressive. I was very proud of my staff.
Yet even Marcia will tell you it hasn't always been that way. This is the first school year she can recall in her 18 years on the job that every cafeteria came back with no issues found. Her advice for schools hoping to follow in Mount Vernon's footsteps?
I just think, as long as everybody's on the same page, then you all know what the expectations are and you don't have to guess what somebody wants. So, seems to work good here.
Officials with the Cedar Rapids Community School District have told me it addresses any errors found in inspections and that none of the observations made by the health department at Van Buren Elementary School affected food safety or the health of students and staff. However, as for that air gap around the washing machine, that will likely continue its streak of being a repeat violation for the foreseeable future. Officials reporting it would be a $14,000 fix. Bruce.